we are ready to go. Oscar Perez and Cesar Juarez. Juarez has promised that this will be the show stealer of the night. And he is right on top of Perez here in the early going.
Both fighters wearing black and gold.
If Juarez is in shape, oh my God, Perez is in for a long night. He's going to be in his face throwing a bunch of punches.
Well, so far he's keeping his word of bringing excitement to a fight, even in the first 20 seconds.
We last saw Juarez on March 22nd of this year, so not a lot of ring rust, but he was stopped in that fight by Charlie Sheehy, who's an excellent prospect, but it did take Sheehy 7 rounds to get Juarez out of there. So the question is, are there lingering effects of that knockout loss for Juarez heading into this one?
I don't see how not. He's always in so many different wars. And Perez been in the ring with some really, really good guys, but sometimes being in there with the Raymond Fords, Shakur Stevensons, and guys like that don't prepare you for a guy like this. So we want to see how Perez really performs.
Handed a good combination there, though, as far as his back's on the ropes.
Perez, a former National Golden Gloves semifinalist, excellent amateur, 85-19. His sister, Yoseline, is a 13-time national amateur champion, so this is a family you don't want to mess with.
Indeed, and I'll tell you, even though Juarez is attacking and being very aggressive, Perez has dealt with it pretty well, like comfortably and very mature in there, landing that looping left to the body.
Right, he's picking the shots that's there, and that's what I like to see from the young Perez. Juarez is coming in with his head down, ridiculous. Head first, head down, rushing in, so the body shot is there.
And he's not overwhelming Perez at all, as he's controlling a distance there.
Good step back uppercut there from Perez, and as you guys are alluding to, that uppercut could be the key for Perez all night long. It either lands to the body, or, as you're pointing out, Ak, Juarez leans into it and it catches him on the chin.
Right. I think if he follows up with a short right hook there, he'll do some damage.
There's the warning I was looking for. You're coming in head first like that, it's too much. The referee's saying, okay, stop coming in with the head.
That's what causes headbutts and cuts.
See, look at that. He's put his head down. He just got hit in the mouth. Perez just got hit in the mouth by Juarez's head.
I think also a very stiff jab will kind of help him with that, keeping Juarez.
Yeah, but you don't want to jab to the top of the head.
Hurt your hand.
Yeah. So that's why I said go to the body.
Nice flurry here from Perez.
With that right hook.
Yeah, chopping right hook. That one might have knocked Juarez off balance momentarily. You see him complaining about it being behind the head. An excellent round for Perez.
Usually that means a guy is hurt when he gets hit in the chin and complains that it was behind the head.
Perez's trainer looks younger than him.
That's his older brother, Eric Perez. Perez, for a period of time, was in the Danny Garcia camp as well, so he sampled a little bit, but has decided, again, to keep it in that fighting family where he's most comfortable.
Showing me a lot tonight.
Yeah, I mean, and I would say if Perez were able to get a stoppage tonight, it would be saying a lot against this type of opponent.
Cesar Juarez's father, Margarito, in his corner. As round 2 is now underway. Terrific start for Oscar Perez.
Beautiful 1-2 from Perez to start the round. I love what I'm seeing so far, Corey.
Yeah, I like the poise, the poise of Perez, and I like that he's picking the correct shots, dealing with a guy that's coming in with his head so low.
Not feeling flustered at all. His pullback game has been really good today. Creating distance, landing that 1-2.
Mentioned that Perez was a semifinalist at the National Golden Gloves, but of course he won the National Golden Gloves in 2021, a little bit more important. He won that alongside fellow Houston native, Darius Fulgham, who we'll see back in action on May 31st. But speaking combination. Oscar Perez putting some shots together here on the inside, but back comes the old veteran, Cesar Juarez. A lot of swinging and missing, but he has come to fight as usual.
You know, Barack, you mentioned earlier that sparring with guys like Raymond Ford and Shakur might not get him ready for this type of fighter, but I don't know, I beg to differ. I see a little Shakur step back distance and control that Shakur has done with fighters like that.
Right, of course, obviously, fighting with those guys, sparring with those guys, make you sharp. It's just dealing with this kind of pressure. You're not going to get that from those kind of guys, is what I'm saying.
But you'll learn from what Shakur does, because I see it already.
Late shot there from Juarez. He'll get a warning from the official.
Solid right hook to the body by Perez.
Body work is superb.
Picking his shots perfectly.
Step back left hand there from Perez.
If this fight progresses like this, guys, I don't think I want to see Juarez getting hit with that many clean shots.
No, and I think we're seeing a pattern that has started to develop with Juarez really since that Malik Montgomery fight. He put up big volume numbers in that fight, but since then, you look at the Charlie Sheehy fight, averaging about 44 punches per round. So he's applying pressure, but it's not accompanied by volume.
Right, no doubt. He's 2-2 since that Montgomery fight.
I mean, he's coming off of a knockout loss. It was not too long ago. Maybe he's trying to apply the pressure with his body and smothering him, but
it's not effective at all so far.
He might not have it in him to do the work rate he's we're used to seeing him do.
See Juarez admonished for the rough stuff there as he eats another body shot from Perez. Juarez covering up, but unanswered shots there landed by Oscar Perez at the end of the round.
Great round for Perez. You know, that step back we was talking about. If he steps back just a little bit more, it probably that uppercut will probably land. Instead of landing on the body right there, it'll probably land right to the head, to the chin of Juarez. And literally Juarez is jumping in with his head, and this is why the referee keeps admonishing him.
Getting Perez prepared for tough fights in the future.
Back.
I like to deem Oscar as a slick, skilled fighter, guys, but oddly enough, his favorite of all time is Arturo Gatti, who's a blood and guts warrior.
Hard body shot again there from Perez.
See a little bit of that in him too, maybe, because he wants to mix it up. He wants to stay in the trenches when Juarez comes in.
He did tell us he'll make easy work of Juarez, and I don't see any difference.
Oh, there's a shot there from Perez, but that was a slip from Juarez. A lot of water on that Red Owl logo in the corner. That was a dangerous situation for Juarez, the way that he went down.
Yeah, I thought he hurt his leg. I thought he hurt his knee when he went down. But right before that, Perez landed a nice check right hook, but he just got to spin out to the right when he do it next time. Like that. There we go.
Good call.
Keeping an eye on the back leg of Juarez as well. It doesn't seem to be 100% at the moment.
Yeah, he got up pretty slowly, like he did hurt his leg.
And understandably so.
And
I mean, Brock, if I took that fall, you could see me in 9 months. Torn MCL, forget about it.
Be calling fights from the hospital.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, his leg really twisted when he fell.
I tell you what, Juarez hasn't had any success against Perez thus far.
No, I like it. I like it, though. He's good in the midst of the fire. He's good in the midst of the fire.
In the pocket.
Keeps composure, still picking the proper shots, and still thinking about defense.
Has been a pro for a little over 5 years now. And I'd like to see him step up after this fight because he has a lot of talent.
More body shots here from Oscar Perez. How many of these can Juarez endure? You can see him selling out. And that one does stray a little bit low. And Juarez, the old veteran, I think he's going to milk this for a little bit of time. He's allowed to.
I think that
Not
was
faulting him for doing it.
no doubt. It was a little on the borderline there.
Yeah.
A little suspect.
It's hard to see in real time sometimes. Didn't really look that low. But even so, he's bending down. He keeps bending down very low. Definitely an accident. But the smart Juarez milked it anyway.
Didn't milk it as much as he could have. So that's the warrior in him.
If anything,
Perez
stop
not
him from running in with his head.
Yeah, well, Perez not deterred by that warning either. He's still ripping shots to the body.
Yeah. I mean, he's been landing them cleanly for most of the night. Especially that left hand right to the midsection.
He's starting to bring those hooks around the guard of Juarez. You see the left hand to the body, the right hook there as well. Now just walks Juarez into a nice uppercut.
Another big body shot landed in that exchange.
That'll do it for the round. Juarez absorbing a lot of shots through 3 rounds. All right, this is the moment where Juarez lost his footing in the corner. Whoa, boy, that is knee surgery waiting to happen.
Yeah, or groin injury or hamstring.
I definitely see a groin pull and torn knee ligaments possibly happening as well. I'm glad
I'd
he's
like
okay.
to see that low blow to see how low was it. A lot of young talent coming out of the state of Texas, guys.
Juarez is just full of energy. He just jumped up from his, ready to go in his seat. Right back at it. Head first.
Round 4 underway. Oscar Perez from this hotbed of boxing in Houston, Texas. Cesar Juarez from maybe the boxing hotbed of Mexico City, where he is a cult favorite. There's a mural of him painted at the legendary Nuevo Leon gym in Mexico City. But right now, he is taking a thrashing to the 25-year-old Oscar Perez.
He's doing his version of the peekaboo style.
You know, we're talking about the talent, young talent in Texas. I think the fact that, you know, a lot of guys are training here. Shakur moved here, Raymond Ford. You know, when you're able to spar with those type of guys, you're just going to cultivate, like, talented young fighters.
This doesn't look pretty, but this is actually better work by Juarez. You know, he's trying to be more active now, letting his hands go, possibly trying to steal a round.
Yeah, Juarez taking the initiative here in this round. And he might have a point taken away. And that will be the case. A point taken away, a deduction for Cesar Juarez, indicated for low blows. As Perez, first punch he throws right back downstairs.
I thought the point was being deducted for leading with his head.
Right.
If you ask me, he's done more of that than anything.
At least a point was taken. I mean, he's just squared up, just throwing shots.
Great shot there from Perez. Juarez staggering backwards. Juarez with a point deduction. Is fighting with some desperation right now, but that is 3 straight left hands that he's absorbed. Make it 4.
Not looking too stable in there. After that last knockout in his last fight, I don't like the punishment he's taken today. Not steady on his feet.
Again, perhaps owed to age in the ring and all those wars, but perhaps feeling the effects of that slip in his corner as well. To me, guys, that back leg just has not looked right since then.
And those punches from Perez don't help.
Inside the final 30 seconds of round 4. Credit to Cesar Juarez, who again has been explicit about his desire always to give the fans a show. He thinks of himself as an entertainer first, and then as a fighter who's maybe pursuing professional goals, but he is putting a lot on the line and absorbing a lot in service of the fans here tonight, as Oscar Perez is just lighting him up.
Yeah, he's giving Perez the opportunity to entertain the fans.
We take a look at the jam-packed Owl's Nest here in Houston, Texas. Die-hard fight fans in attendance here tonight. And we've got one particularly invested observer here. It's Kurt Scooby, seated ringside. Of course, taking in this lightweight action with Oscar Perez, but in particular, guys, he has his eyes on Giovanni Marquez.
And he has the perfect seat. He's actually sitting right behind one of the judges. Like, he's going to really keep his eye close on Marquez. I love that matchup. We was talking about that from the beginning of last season, and it just needs to happen.
I mean, every single post-fight interview I've done with him, that's all he wanted to talk about. Marquez.
Round 5 underway. Oscar Perez and Cesar Juarez. Juarez, the cult favorite. Just looking unsteady all night long here against Perez. And, you know, despite that, these are still good rounds for Perez against a physical guy who's in his face, who's being rough. There's things that Perez has to contend with to get his work off, but Juarez probably not providing the kind of resistance that he would hoped here tonight.
No, definitely see ring generalship. He's not getting dismayed by the constant pressure of Juarez, and he's basically dictating the pace.
And at times, even on the ropes in the pocket, he's working there.
Right.
He's letting Juarez work and countering comfortably.
I think uppercut. How did Juarez stand up to that?
I think it was that last round that really slowed Juarez up.
There you go. See that?
And he's thinking about coming in now.
The combinations, I think it's going to be what gets him out of there.
That was a fantastic uppercut that connected there from Perez. Looked like it had Juarez frozen in time there for a moment.
It's a little slippery where the logo is. This not canvas material.
Yeah, every time he goes in that corner, he's ice skating.
The chance of Oscar here in the Owl's Nest.
Great work he's putting in.
Perez looking for his 8th knockout in his pro career. It takes a lot to stop this man, but as we mentioned, coming off a knockout loss, perhaps now is the time for Perez to capitalize.
You can tell Juarez is getting hurt by those punches from Perez, because he's being more selective in the way he's coming in. He's feinting now, so he doesn't just want to walk in now. Those shots are having an effect on him.
Considering all the fights that Juarez has had in wars, I mean, he's fairly young at only 31 years old.
Bach, you alluded to this. He mentioned that he makes more money fighting still than he does as he tumbles to the canvas again. Will that be scored a knockdown? It will. And you see Juarez complaining that the feet got tangled, but again, just does not look particularly steady as he eats a nice right hook there from Oscar Perez right before the bell.
I mean, at what point does Juarez's corner start thinking about, maybe I shouldn't let my guy take any more punishment? It's just not in them.
pressure from Juarez was really in spots this round. I think it's because the last round he really felt those shots from Perez. But Perez just kept his composure and kept the distance and landed the shots whenever he needed to. And that was another slip in that corner over there from the Red Owl logo. Doesn't appear that slip hurt him at all, though.
Back to action here as the 6th round begins between Oscar Perez and Cesar Juarez. They're doing a little extra janitorial work in the corner of Juarez, which has been the danger zone throughout this fight. You know, sometimes, guys, when there's recurring issues like that, you'll see corners tape their fighters' shoes to get a little more traction.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that from Juarez yet.
I think it's more so that where that logo is, it's different material there, a little slippery.
Right uppercut there from Perez, introducing that for the first time. Juarez leaning in, just trying to bull his way to the inside, and he has been a target for uppercuts all night long.
I like that. I like the way Perez is keeping Juarez away with that lead hand, just directing his head. Where the head goes, the body goes.
Shot, though, he calls himself. Great condition. Haven't seen him breathe hard at all throughout this fight. He's barely had to throw any jabs in this fight. Juarez is putting his head in position for him to land combinations.
Yeah, Juarez is failing these shots. He's real tentative right now.
I think the referee needs to start looking closely at these shots.
He might even want the referee to stop this fight right now. I normally don't see Juarez look like this. He looks real discouraged right now.
Absolutely.
And again, you have that family dynamic in the corner of Cesar Juarez. You know, Juarez, a 32-year-old man. Is your father willing to pull you out in that scenario? You know, he's seen Juarez go through so many wars, take so much punishment. Is tonight the night where he says that's enough?
I mean, 18 losses coming off a knockout loss.
It's tough being a father. I've seen both ends of the spectrum where the father wants to pull him out and don't want him to get hurt. And people were mad at Kenny Porter for pulling out Sean Porter against Terrence Crawford. And then I see fathers that want their son to go in there and die almost.
Yeah. Very true.
Total domination here from Oscar Perez. A prospect who has maybe flown under the radar a little bit in comparison to some of the guys who he was genuinely rivals with in the amateurs. You think a guy like Gio Marquez, the kind of hype that he's had, Ernesto Mercado, the prospect of the year. He lost to him in the last chance qualifier tournament. And Oscar Perez showing a lot here tonight against an admittedly faded version of Cesar Juarez.
No, I agree with you, Corey. He's just as good as, even better as a lot of the prospects that are getting more light.
Good flurry at the end of the round by Perez.
He's shown me a lot today.
Jake Paul returns to the boxing ring for the first time since the blockbuster event with Mike Tyson in 2024, facing off against former WBC middleweight champion Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And in the co-main, we'll see Zurdo Ramirez against Uniel Dorticos for the WBA and WBO cruiserweight titles.
Looking forward to that one, Corey. Chavez.
Paul. Depends on which Chavez we get, you know, because a regular Chavez, the best Chavez beats Jake Paul, in my opinion.
Good point.
Round 7 underway.
But then again, I thought he was going to lose against Silva, you know? And so Jake has shown me some skills.
Tremendous progression.
We're watching the progression of Oscar Perez here.
Great counter left by Perez. Oh, great double right hook. Oh, man. Juarez is taking a lot of punishment.
Too much. You know, Barack, the more I think about what you just said a few moments ago, I'm not sure if the best Chavez beats Jake Paul.
Well, I'm talking about the Chavez that fought Martinez, the Chavez that,
Yeah.
you know, held on to that WBC strap. You know, he was a tough fighter in there. He could take a lot of punishment, and he was in your face like Juarez with a lot of shots.
We take a look at the CompuBox punch stats there on the bottom right of your screen. You see Perez landing 135 of 301, landing at nearly a 45% clip. You see for Juarez, he's landed just 37 shots here tonight. And that is illustrative of what you're watching on the large portion of your screen right now, which is total domination from Oscar Perez.
That sweat just hits my face.
Exactly. No, you came here sweaty. But exactly the same kind of percentage that Elijah Lugo just had. And you know, same thing, domination. But this particular performance says a lot to me because of the experience by Juarez and the pressure that he was putting on.
Wind up left hand from Perez, and Juarez eats it, shrugs his shoulders, and keeps coming forward.
All right, at some point, the ref, as I said, needs to start looking at this. I don't care how many shots Juarez can take.
Yes, that's a flurry like that, a towel should be thrown in. That flurry had Juarez switch to southpaw. He forgot for a second.
I think the doctor should take a look at Juarez after this round, guys, if he gets out of this round.
And this is the conundrum of this fight now, because Juarez can take these shots, and he wants to take these shots because he feels that this is what the fans want to see. But at a certain point, when does it get uncomfortable for the viewer watching a man like Juarez, who just doesn't have it here tonight, get dominated by a young prospect?
And right, and that's the thing. That's why we need the ref or the corner, because the doctor's not going to see anything. The doctor's going to see his eyes are okay and say, okay.
What a right hook there from Perez. He just swam underneath about 20 shots from Cesar Juarez and came back with a rocket of a right hook.
And his eyes was gone for a second.
And he wasn't really getting hit by a lot of those shots. He stood in the corner catching those and waiting. I'd like to see a doctor step into that corner and take a look at Juarez.
This round might be thinking it's the last round. It's just let it go.
All it takes is one shot.
Let him be able to go back to his family and actually use that psychology degree.
Eighth and final round, of course, the money round here on Overtime Boxing. Financial incentive if either fighter could score a knockout here. And of course, Oscar Perez had Cesar Juarez hurt and wobbled in the closing seconds of round 7 in this, well, not that exact position, but in Juarez's corner where they were momentarily.
And that was nice because Perez actually just grabbed Juarez and saved him from falling outside of the ring.
The gentleman that he is.
And then commenced back to beat him up.
I mean, I guess Juarez is comfortable and satisfied with lasting all 8 rounds in his bout. Still trying.
Yeah, I think he's a warrior. I think he actually wants to win.
Not what we saw last week by Skull against Canelo Alvarez. Not wanting just to survive.
Left hand to the body there from Perez. He's ripping that shot right along the belt line, and Perez doing some good work here, just absorbing this hustle kind of work from Juarez on the inside and finding his spot for counter right hooks.
I mean, Perez might not get the stoppage. You know, Juarez is just a durable guy, but you got to be happy for him if you're Perez's corner. And say, you know, you dealt with somebody with a whole bunch of experience. You mixed it up. Your offense was beautiful, top, bottom. You mixed it up really good. Your defense was on point. This is a great win for him.
Great performance. I agree with you.
And this is exactly why Juarez has been able to have the kind of career that he's had with the 18 losses and still fighting. It's because he's this durable. And prospects run into guys like Juarez who are kind of calloused so much that they can take shots like that. I mean, that is a 5-punch combination. And 3 of those shots landing flush, and back comes Juarez, still trying to give the crowd something to cheer about.
And that's why he always gets the call, Corey, when needing an opponent that's going to bring an exciting fight.
I mean, it started out, Perez had a nice cheering section. Now he has the whole crowd cheering for him.
Juarez's face is swollen.
Oh, my God.
I would think Perez deserves a stoppage right here.
Definitely does. And we got 12 seconds.
Unbelievable toughness from Cesar Juarez. It's hard not to fall in love with this guy.
Wow.
And that will do it.
Wow.
What a warrior, leaving it all in the ring.
Juarez's eyes were about to close in this round. This round was 30 more seconds. Both of his eyes would be closed. His face just took a lot of damage in that round. He's hurt. That left eye.
Yeah, his left eye is closing and is perhaps closed as we see him going to work on that eye immediately.
Those are some heavy shots he took this round.
This guy has 3 kids, just had a 6-month old that was born 6 months ago. I mean, at what point does your corner say, okay, listen, live to fight another day, or live to pursue the rest of your career?
When the checks are not as big anymore. As long as the checks are big enough for him to come to America, he's going to keep coming.
Okay, the check was already clear. Didn't have to take all that punishment.
Yeah, that part I definitely agree with. He's a Mexican warrior.
All right, let's take a look back at some highlights from this one. And this was essentially a highlight tape for Oscar Perez.
A complete shutout. Complete shutout by the young kid who mixed it up. I mean, literally threw every punch available in boxing. Hurt him a couple of times. That straight left hurt Juarez. That was ruled a slip. Juarez was still game. He was just outmatched in power, speed, skill. This was the last round where they really just gave it their all and got the crowd very, very excited.
Lots to cheer about for Team Perez here tonight. See Cesar Juarez still actively bleeding, guys. He absorbed a lot of shots in there tonight. All right, looks like we are ready to make this one official. So let's send it back up to Lupe Contreras.
After going all 8 rounds inside the OTX ring, judges Russell and Reyes turned in identical scores of 80-70. And Judge Sid turned scores about 79-71. All 3 in favor of the winner by way of unanimous decision. From Northside, Houston, El Chato, Oscar